I'm Morgan.
And I'm Chris.
And welcome to our gluten-free series.
So I'm Matt Bronner. We're here in Fairhaven in Bellingham, Washington, inside our restaurant, Övn Wood Fired Pizza. So my wife and I opened the restaurant 9 years ago. We have 3 kids and we live in the neighborhood. So we really love living and operating a restaurant in the Fairhaven Village. So first and foremost, we try and make the best pizza that we can. And early on, we wanted to make sure that everyone with dietary restrictions could enjoy our pizza. So in addition to doing lots of dairy-free and vegan stuff, a large part of our clientele come here, especially for our gluten-free crust, which we take a lot of pride in. One of the things that we think makes our gluten-free crust really special is the imported gluten-free flour mix that we use. It's got a lot of starches, and so when we get those wet, those starches turn into sugar. It allows us to use yeast to actually ferment and give some leavening and some rise to that crust. So instead of being a thin, flavorless cracker gluten-free crust, it actually has some sponge and some rise to it, and I think that's why people like it so much. Because so many people come here for our gluten-free crust, we try and make sure that a lot of our appetizers are gluten-free as well. So our potato wedges, our chicken wings, all those things don't have any wheat starches that a lot of products do. So people will ask us all the time about our gluten-free process. Some people eat it because they're celiac, and some people eat it because they're gluten intolerant, and so people have different needs. We do use a gluten-free yeast product. We don't create a separate gluten-free sourdough starter. We do have a separate production station where we make our gluten-free dough. That gets made in a separate mixer. It gets stretched out in a separate part of the kitchen than our normal dough. We load it into the oven with unique gluten-free tools. Once it's in the oven, it sees the same oven and uses the same tools as our other pizza. But we do use like a separate spot in the kitchen just for the gluten-free stuff. We do as much as we can reasonably to reduce cross-contamination. We try and be really upfront with people about our processes. This is a pizza restaurant, there is flour around, so we just try and give people as much information as we can and encourage you to make the best decision you can for yourself.
Yeah.
I certainly couldn't eat like a crust, like a normal crusted pizza, but like there are a lot of sauces that have wheat in them.
For sure.
I can usually handle okay. Versus like maybe you just don't at all. Like,
Yeah, I'm probably a little more on the other end of the celiac spectrum, but I've never had an issue with the crust here.
That's awesome. One of the things about our gluten-free dough is it does contain Codex wheat starch, which is an industrial wheat-based product.
Yeah.
Codex means it's safe for people who have extreme gluten sensitivities. Okay. It's basically like a code word that means it's below a certain threshold of parts per million of gluten. It's sort of like getting decaffeinated coffee grounds. This is deglutenized wheat starch. So it's just the starch removed from the wheat bran and the wheat germ and all that stuff. So it is wheat. There is wheat in our gluten-free dough, but we don't sell it as wheat-free. It's gluten-free. And if you are looking for gluten-free stuff, you probably know what you need, and if you need it to be Codex or not, or if you need it to be wheat-free or not. So again, we're just trying to tell people what we do and encourage you to make the right choice.
Yeah, I love that.
All right, so we'll head back to the kitchen. We're in here.
Welcome.
Welcome, welcome. All right, so this is our wood-fired oven. It's 6,000 pounds from Naples, Italy, and this is where we cook all of our pizzas. So pretty cool.
How hot do you have to get that thing?
So we're generally cooking where the floor temperature is anywhere from like 780 to 850, somewhere in there. Our traditional crust pizzas are gonna cook in like 2 minutes, and our gluten-free pizzas are gonna cook in about 3 minutes. Yeah, pretty cool. So normally what you would see is our staff using our regular dough, they would make pizzas over here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over here to where we have a separate workstation. We've got gluten-free bench hanging out. So I'll go through the process of making one of our gluten-free pizzas. I'm gonna skip the steps where I put a bunch of flour on it.
Yeah.
So this is Bob's Red Mill organic gluten-free all-purpose flour, and that's what we use for a bench. So that's got like sorghum and stuff like that in it. And this is our gluten-free dough. So as you can see from the sheen, it's got olive oil in it, but it's got stuff like buckwheat, it's got cornstarch, rice starch, potato starch, that Codex wheat starch that we talked about, as well as some industrial food grade thickeners like xanthan and guar. So even though it's kind of spongy, it doesn't have a lot of stretch or elasticity the way that like a dough that has gluten in it is going to do. So what we end up doing is kind of moving it around almost like it's made out of Play-Doh. But if I were to kind of grab this and stretch it like a traditional pizza skin, it would just break, it would just snap. And so we just try and take some care and move it around. And it takes a minute. Once it hits a certain size, it goes a little quicker. And we just make sure there's enough bench on that for that to come off and go in the oven. All right, so now we'll move over to our pizza line. We keep this pizza on this tray so it's never gonna touch the surface over here where we make our normal pizzas. All right, so for starters, we're gonna make a margherita. So we've got a separate gluten-free spoon. So we'll use a different spoon for different crusts. All right, so that'll hang out. So our margherita gets basil before the bake and after the bake. We use a fresh mozzarella from Ferndale Farmstead. They're here in Whatcom County. They're a seed to table farm, so they're raising their own cows on their own land right next to the facility where they turn the milk from those cows into cheese. So pretty cool. So this is a separate peel. This is the peel we're going to use for our normal crust. And I've got a separate one working for our gluten-free here. And those are going to cook off to the side, whereas our regular pizzas are going to cook down the middle. All right, so that needs just a little bit longer. Not too bad.
That is so fast.
And this is our slow one, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's got to be for us. This is the only cooking tool in the restaurant. I mean, we have like an oven we use for cookies back there and stuff like that. But we don't have like a saute line or a range or anything like that, or a fryer.
Yeah.
And so everything's got to come through the oven, which means it's got to be pretty quick. All right, so there we are, and we'll move it over to our gluten-free station. And then because we put all that bench on it, we're gonna kind of slide it around on these guys and make sure that we kind of get some of it off. So it helps us cook it, but it's not as nice to eat. Let's see here. So you can see like the air in the crust.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not usually what you're getting when you get gluten-free pizza. So pretty cool. I'll put some fresh basil on it. Olive oil there. All right, so there's our gluten-free margherita.
Perfect.
Cool. Our gluten-free margherita.
This is what I always get. It's perfect.
Nice, awesome. That's great. Today we'll rock through a couple gluten-free pizzas. We'll do our classic margherita. We'll probably do a CBR, which is a chicken bacon ranch pizza. We'll probably do a Sebba, which has marinated figs and smoked prosciutto.
Yeah, Övn is one of my absolute favorites. My husband and I frequent here probably at least once a month. They have the best gluten-free pizza in town, in my opinion. And so many appetizers, fun drinks. It's just a great ambiance in here. You got a view of the water from a lot of the tables, and they have a fun outdoor patio when the weather's nice. So yeah, definitely one of my absolute favorite spots that I recommend everyone any chance I get.
Totally agree. Fairhaven is by far my favorite part of town in general, but also all my favorite eating spots are here as well. So this being one of them, it's a great time. Find a place to like hang out and you can walk around afterwards and you got a good view of the water. So, and the food is phenomenal. Starting off with a gluten-free Margherita pizza. So for anyone who's vegetarian, that doesn't love the meats, or just likes a simple form of pizza, this is perfect.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers. So good. The tomato sauce is super robust and crazy. The basil is popping. I love it. So good.
Got a nice flop.
Right? Always important. Little crunch, little soft texture.
Yeah, a little bit of both.
Yeah.
This is the one spot in town where I have friends who are not gluten-free that will eat this and they can't tell the difference.
Yeah,
So
that makes
I feel like
sense.
that makes it extra special.
Absolutely, especially if you have people in town and you're trying to like, go out to eat and, sometimes your options are a little restricted and you don't necessarily want to encumber other people with your eating,
Yeah.
but yeah, you can take somebody here and they won't even know,
Won't
just
even
don't
know.
tell them.
And they have dairy-free cheese options. So if you have anyone who's gluten-free and or vegan, this is an amazing spot for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know people that are vegan, this is fun.
This is what you usually get when you come here, Morgan, is the margarita.
Oh yeah, this is typically what I go for. Sometimes I'll add a little goat cheese or some truffle oil on it, but the margarita just can't go wrong.
So I brought you your
Wow.
dipping sauce.
Okay.
But these are gluten-free little garlic balls, and they're awesome.
Awesome.
They
Sweet.
look so
Thank you
good.
very much.
Yeah,
this is so
super
cool. But we are very excited because I never get to eat garlic bread in general most of the time because there's never a gluten-free option. Welcome to gluten-free garlic bites.
Yes.
This is very exciting.
Brand new on the menu apparently, so we are some of the first to get to try them.
9 years in the making apparently, and we get to roll them out now.
It smells amazing.
I could smell it from here. It
I
smells
know.
really good.
Should we try it with sauce or without sauce? Ooh. Okay.
Smells amazing. oh wow.
Oh wow.
That is like everything you want in like a garlic bread, whether it's a roll or a stick, or that is everything you want and more.
It's got a little spice to it.
It does. It's got a little kick to it, huh?
Like a little hint. My spice tolerance is nothing. It's not overwhelming at all, but
No, I like that.
I like it. Yeah.
Huge fan of flavor too. Like if you tell me there's a flavor in something, it needs to kind of slap me across the face. I don't want this hint of something. It's the reason why I don't like scones. These are perfect because this is very garlicky. So if you don't like garlic, please stay away. But if you do, here you go.
Now we're trying the chicken bacon ranch.
God.
Super good. Really rich.
Wow. You were not kidding about the ranch. That's
Isn't it
fantastic.
so good?
Yeah,
It's the best ranch in town.
that's amazing. On the pop of the tomato too.
Yeah, wow.
Yum.
This takes me back to, I used to love, before I was gluten-free, Domino's chicken bacon ranch pizza. It was my absolute favorite. This is better though.
Ranch chicken something on pizza. Yeah. And who doesn't want bacon?
This is the Sebba on their menu. So it's got some figs, some bruschetta, some arugula, balsamic vinaigrette, and blue cheese, I believe.
Yes, and you're not a blue cheese fan, but you're gonna try it anyway because it's gonna be delicious.
Gonna be brave.
Yes.
No, it looks amazing. That's good.
Yeah.
Subtle blue cheese.
Yeah, it is pretty subtle, isn't it?
It's not
Just like a
overpowering.
hint. Just like,
And it's a little bit on the sweeter side with the fig,
Yes.
which is kind of fun. I don't usually go for like a sweeter pizza.
Well, if you feel like blue cheese is a little bit funky, the sweetness would probably take back the funkiness just slightly.
Yeah.
I like that the figs still have like the seeds in them. They're really tiny, but they add like a little bit of a crunch, which is interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A little extra texture.
Yeah, so it's a nice little texture on top of your, yeah.
My favorite was the chicken bacon ranch. That was a fun surprise because I've not had that from their menu before. I usually keep it really simple with just the margarita, but I love their ranch. I usually dip my pizza in ranch, so it was like the perfect kind of solve that problem for me.
My absolute favorite thing that we had today was definitely the new garlic bread. It's so good. It's fluffy and bouncy and just wonderful on its own, even better with the sauce. But if I had to pick a pizza, had to pick one, I am very partial to this guy over here, the Sebba. I love blue cheese, and it's got that little crunch with the fig seeds still in it, which is awesome. So it's a nice kind of savory, sweet thing. Love it.
Obviously, I'm a big supporter. I'm here often, and this was a super fun day, just getting to try a couple of things that I don't normally order here. The owner, Matt, was fantastic and so nice. I feel amazing coming and just continuing to support him and his business, and yeah, highly recommend to everyone.
Absolutely. I will continue coming to Fairhaven because I love this place, but also I will continue coming here as well. The food is amazing. I bring people here all the time when they come into town, especially if they're new, kind of showcase it, and I'll continue to do so.
Yeah.
So our restaurant is located at 1148 10th Street in Fairhaven Village. We're kitty corner from the Village Green. You can also find us on the internet, ovenwoodfiredpizza.com. We've got an awesome loyalty program. You can download our app there and order online.